What up, what up, what up, everybody? It is the 10th day of the TXC Bot Challenge. I actually just filmed this, and as I was going through some of the features on TXC, I got a little crazy, and I went into some personal info that I didn't mean to click on, and I originally tried to trim the video, but then I messed it up, so I apologize. This video is going to be kind of messed up, but if you look in here in the history, I can show you still on when I did my manual order, I got up to 32.89 TXC. Started with 30.1 and made those trades. I started with $100, ended up with $125 or $127, I think is what it was, 127 something. Obviously, then TXC was down a little bit because I did get back in from where I bought. As we're sitting right here at 380, it was a little bit less valuable. But I was trying to, in the video, I was trying to get into the bots and kind of re-showing them off, and I messed up. But so again, I apologize, but what I can tell you is, so I started with $100 in the manual trading. I got about 25-27% profit. That was from trading trend lines and pivot points. I only did 2-3 trades. I did not get my 411 filled. It would have filled on by economy, but it did not fill on TXC, unfortunately. I would have got a little bit more profit. Would have been really cool. As far as the bot design that we did, I put $100 in an AI strategy. When you go into the AI strategies and you hit copy, you'll see that based on what one you're looking at, it has a minimum fund required to run that bot. If you click on parameters, it'll show you the price range that it's suggesting based on the 30 days of trading for TXC, and then the amount of grids that it suggests is 61 grids. So when you look at that, you can see the 30 days, 60 days. This is infinity grids. You'll see that this one will need a lot bigger balance because it has a huge grid spread that is constantly moving. And then if you go into the custom grid trading bot, which is the most popular, this is the one that I recommend personally. So you can click on copy strategy 7, 30, 180, or you can customize and do your own. So kind of based on TXC's support zones and prices, looking at 2.75 was a number that I've had for a long time. And if we double that, it's 550. We did touch that zone during the nudge, and that's not much higher than what the 530 end of November price is. So I'm going to round up and just say look at 6. If it gets over to, so what this means is if the price of TXC moves below 275, the bot will exit, sell, and you'll hold USDT, which is what paired trading is. So you'll be out of the trade and it'll be no longer trading. If the price goes above 6, it'll do the same thing. It'll sell, take profit, and be out of the trade completely, and not buy and take a new position. You might sit there and be like, if it keeps going up, why would I not want to trade? Well, if there was a breakout that was unplanned, and there's a potential of a parabolic move up, and it'll be unfortunate to not catch that move up on the selling side, but you have to buy in order to sell. So if your profit is all taken at 6 and it goes to 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, if the bot makes a buy, but then a sell order comes in that pushes the price, or a whale offloads a bunch because of the huge move, and then there's a quick fall below your last purchase, well, now that bot has a order up there at that breakout price, and you'll be stuck waiting for the price to either catch up, or you'll have to sell that portion at a loss. Now, luckily, the way that the bots work is they they kind of dollar cost average in and dollar cost average out. So they're not, all the buys are not at the same level. So it's not like you bought all at $9. You bought at, you know, 880, 890, 895, 905. So it staggers out the buys and such. So you wouldn't be in too much trouble. But as a personal recommendation, I would keep your range tight enough to where that while the price is in a channel and moving, you could be capturing profits in accumulating more coins as it's moving, and you don't want the bot to trade on the massive breakout. That's something that you'd be ready for if you want to stash a couple coins and then set them as a sell for that really high potential breakout. That's kind of what that would be for. You wouldn't want the bot to get caught in a breakout and then get stuck holding coins above. So here nor there, just kind of a suggestion. You would set your parameters on the low side support, and then you find the upper channel band. If we go into the chart, I'll kind of show you how I would price this based on the range. And then the grids, you can see that when you do 2, you only need $6. But it's going to only set 2 prices, so you're going to probably see it's going to shoot to try to make a double up. If you do 20, now you need $36 of funds in order to run that grid spread to fill out 20 grid orders. But the profit per grid, you're looking at 2.7 to 6%. Again, as the price moves up, there's going to be multiple grids taking that profit, so it's going to compound them. So in this type of move channel, up, down, move up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That's all very profitable for multiple grids, whereas a big spike is less grids. And then if you go and if we start doubling that, 40 obviously needs $69. And again, the profit per grid gets a lot tighter, all the way up to 100. This is high frequency and going to make a lot of trades for you and a high circulation. But you're only going to get about a third to 1% profit per trade. But in order to fund that many grids, you have to put in almost $170 a USDT. So just something to be mindful of, depending on how much you're trying to allocate and let it start. If you just do 20 grids, you only need about $40 to throw in there. So if you took, if you had a $50 deposit, throw a 20 grid, $40 bot, and then you came in and bought a manual order and bought 10 USDT worth of whatever you could get, and then you set that for the sell on the breakout, if it was to go crazy, and then you let the bot trade in between. Just kind of a little friendly suggestion of what I would possibly look at. But to break down the bots and give you kind of like a final judgment, again, the bots got closed, and I don't know if I could go into my bot history. Let me see if I could find, orders, bot orders, history orders. Is it going to show where they... Oh yeah, so this was the AI bot, 56 grids, 284 to 6. We made 8% on that one in the 10 days. So that was cool. 56, I closed it. And then on mine that I set was 275. I set a little bit lower than theirs, but I did a $6 top 2 so that they had the same top end. I did 22 grids. Again, that was no science, just my baseball number. And I wanted to do less. During the 10 days, the AI bot with 56 grids did 81 trades. My 22 grid did 10 trades. The custom bot that I built made 12% profit, almost 13. So a little bit better than the AI parameters that it chose. And that was mostly just because of the price. That price action that we have going on in TXC right now is these spikes. Bigger spikes means less grids will have bigger profit. But if we get into this more frequent type of trading pattern, you're going to see that the higher grids will do it. Higher grids are also more conservative and will just kind of create that constant circulation. But overall recap, my pivot points and swing trades ended up winning this 10-day challenge with a 25-27% profit. The custom bot that I set up was most of the time was between 12 and 15%. Obviously, we're in a big downturn right now, so I don't remember exactly where I closed it out as I was making this video, but it was up around 15-18% at its kind of high point up here. And then the AI bot did 8, and I think its high point was around 12%. So again, there's no like best bot if you don't set your parameters. If you set your parameters to 20 and not 22, or 40 and not 60, I don't think there's an exact science to which one is going to be the ultimate best. Based on TXC's current price movement, it seems that you're most likely going to be more profitable in a 14 to 28 grids than you are in the bigger grids. But you're probably going to accumulate more over a long run, and we don't know what the price is going to be in the future. As more miners and more traders come on, we're going to see more investors coming in as well, and that more consistent liquidity flow will create more more of a consistent price range instead of these spikes and jumps towards the end of the month that we see typically around the anticipation of the nudge. Also, if you saw my last video where I was comparing the U.S. friendly exchanges, we've also seen that DEX Trade, which is the original listing exchange for TXC, that was available for investors. It's had an update recently, and new users and even users in certain states are having a hard time getting access to new accounts and such. So you're probably going to see more activity on these U.S. exchanges and U.S. users, and that activity will allow these bots to be more continuous and build upon the price flow. So more investors, more money, more volume, more eyes. We're going to get some outside liquidity from other crypto investors as they're building their portfolios. One quick little final send off that I'll give on this one. For longer term outlooks on price, I like to do the 4-hour. So if we zoom out on the 4-hour and we decide that this kind of is our pivot range, so we take the ray and we come down, we'll just pick this point. Even though I normally would go for that wick, to me, this separation from this was starting right here. And I'm just going to kind of go down and see the support line of that. And so realistically, if I was to set up a bot right now, I would be setting something up for the low end range would be 350, I'd probably do 350 based on this lower trend line. And then if I come up here and I go off this high wick here and this high wicks here, and we zoom out because I'm going to have this thing run for a little bit. And then we know that that is obviously the liquidity zone that's happened before. This looks like the top right here, actually. And that one's 540. So I would probably set the top end to 560. So if you're going to set up a bot today, my personal opinion would be a 360 to 560 range, and anywhere from 14 to 28 grids. And then let that run. You can obviously close it. If you go into the tabs, you should see something where it will automatically reinvest the profits on the details tab. Mine are already doing that because once you set that, I think it becomes your kind of default selection. And then anytime you want to add to it, release profit would mean that any profit that it makes, it would leave it in USDT instead of reinvesting it. That way you could go buy something else if you wanted to, or transfer it, or just let it sit for a little bit depending on the price action. And if you want to edit, pause, I guess you can name them if that helps you. But I've already done one round on this one. This one hasn't done anything yet. And this one hasn't done anything yet. So a couple bots I got. I got the 22 grid. This is my kind of personal favorite right now. 3 to 7.5, 22 grids. I did a 2.75 to 7.25 with 100 grids just to kind of see if that can stimulate some action. And that one is losing right now because we are down. That one, current price. Where did I have my start price? Does it show? No. I got some bad prices on these because I was trying to push the price up at breakfast today with my pops, and we were sitting here kind of stagnant, fighting at 398, 397. So I closed everything and pushed everything down. I had a bunch of random bots set up, and then I restarted them and pushed it up. So I basically was this large wick here down to here, created this, and put those bots back in, and a couple more trades along the way, which created this kind of action, and then we stalled, which was unfortunate. And I don't know if that was because I got all my bot grids loaded up here too much at the top and volume dried up, but we are dropping here and losing the momentum that we had built going off of Thanksgiving into the holiday. So hopefully we get a little turnaround here because bots are sitting in the mud right now. But that's what I would do if I was setting up a little basic idea. Again, never put in more than you are willing to lose. Don't feel obligated to. But the bots are going to continue to make more volume and create these trades so that traders can come in and create orders, which is going to get a strong developed market for outside liquidity to come in. And the more outside liquidity that comes into the project, the more of the internal liquidity can be used for the project and to be able to support these prices so that when whales do sell, it doesn't get chopped through so easily. So kind of a nice moment here at the end of the month. Hopefully we get some more momentum right here. We are at the point of inflection. When is this going to be able to break out of this? This is not the prettiest. So I'm just going to look at this one and then off of that big wick, and we are looking to test that, unfortunately. And bummer. All right. Well, I'm going to leave you guys with that. Hope the little bot challenge was fun for you guys, and hope that shed some light on a useful tool, I feel, with a very strong exchange here that TXC's on. U.S. friendly, U.S. crypto. And let's get some momentum going here. Peace out, guys. Hope you have a good weekend. I will probably be back for another one tomorrow and see what we got as an outlook for December.